There are unwritten rules for everything, including the airport, and if all travelers knew these, it would make the travel experience so much better for all of us. From checking in to boarding your flight, here are some of the essential guidelines that airport staff wish every traveler knew, especially number 9. Whether it is your first flight or your 100th flight, please don't do number 9. Let's kick things off with the check-in line and the unwritten rule that you should stick with your group when checking in with an airline agent. If you are flying with friends or family, approach the check-in desk together as a group instead of one of you going to one desk and the other going to another desk. This is going to be faster, and it also increases your chances of being seated together. And if you do end up having your checked or your carry-on suitcase weighed and it is over the airline's weight limit, you may want to rearrange some of your items to avoid that extra baggage fee. It's totally okay to do this, just please don't do it smack in front of the check-in agent's desk. If you simply move to the side, other passengers are able to check in while you do whatever it is that you need to do. No one likes going through TSA airport security, especially when the people in front of you are holding up the line and breaking this next rule, which is not being prepared when it's your turn to go through security. Don't be that person. Have your passport and your flight ticket in your hand and keep an eye on what passengers ahead of you are doing, and then prepare yourself accordingly. If everyone is taking off their shoes and their jackets, untie your laces and be prepared to do the same. Also, have your liquids and your electronics accessible so you can quickly place them into the screening bin when it's your turn to do so. There are also quite a few guidelines on how to act with a TSA agent. Follow their instructions and don't get upset if they are less than pleasant with you. Be respectful and honestly just grateful that you do not have to do their job. But also don't be too friendly. Where are you flying today, ma'am?
Where are you flying today?
No. Answer the questions that you are asked and say no more. No jokes at the airport either. Forget that the words bomb or weapon are even a part of your vocabulary. What you think might be an innocent joke under your breath could be taken seriously and could get you into a lot of trouble. And no photos or filming at TSA security. Please keep your phone and your cameras away. You may notice that I use a lot of repeat stock footage when I talk about TSA airport security in my videos. This is for our safety and the privacy of other passengers. You don't want to be sharing a ton of videos about the security process for anyone that maybe has bad intentions, and it is actually an official rule that you are not filming or taking any pictures at the TSA screening. Another unofficial rule is that if you see something, say something. Anything that looks at all suspicious at any point during the airport experience should be reported to an airport staff member immediately. Let's all work together to keep ourselves and fellow travelers safe. And no petting security dogs, or any dogs that you see at the airport. Don't even ask if it's okay. If you see a large dog taking a flight with someone, it's probably a service dog and it should not be pet. Although there seems to be a lot of service dogs lately. And this next one is a biggie and also a personal pet peeve of mine. Once you have gone through the security scanner and not set the alarm off because you emptied your pockets, do not touch anyone else's stuff or even a bin containing anyone else's stuff on the other side. It drove me nuts in Paris, where people were picking up other people's bins with things like their phones and their laptops inside of them and then placing them on a separate table. What if you accidentally dropped it in the process? Also,
don't touch my stuff.
And once you have completed the security check and collected your belongings, stack those empty TSA screening bins and put them wherever the heck all the other empty bins are being stacked. The gate area where you will be boarding your flight is often busy as the flight departure time approaches. An unwritten rule for the gate area is to take up the space that you need and no more. So don't be that guy that's taking up an empty seat by putting their backpack on the seat beside them in the gate area, or be that person that is lying down across 4 seats. Because even as the area gets busy and you decide to move, it's still not that pleasant to be sitting somewhere where you just had your dirty shoes on the seat. Although dirty shoes are probably better than dirty feet. Please keep your shoes on, and if you do want a little bit of extra space, With your shoes on, just put them up on top of your rolling carry-on suitcase. Let us know down in the comments if you have ever seen a passenger passed out across a row of seats in the middle of a busy gate area. Also, no one wants to sit where you just stuck your gum under the seat and then wiped your greasy Dorito hands on the seat and then proceeded to leave crumbs and the empty bag behind when finished. No thank you. So in addition to being conscious of how much space you are taking up, please be aware of what you are doing in that space because someone will be using it after you. The next unwritten rule for passengers that are in the airport, especially at the gate area, is to be mindful of your noise level. Please don't watch movies on your device without headphones, or take long phone calls on speaker, or yell into your phone while trying to use the speech-to-text function. Being aware of your noise level also extends to anyone that you are responsible for. Please be responsible for your kids. It's not a good look to be that parent that is sitting on their iPad while the kids are running around, screaming, climbing on seats, and being a general pain in the butt to the other passengers. But if you do see a parent with a crying baby, rolling your eyes at them or obnoxiously sighing is a jerk move that is going to make that parent feel even worse, while doing absolutely nothing to stop that baby from crying. You will also be breaking the unwritten rule number 14. The next unwritten rule is also probably an official rule, but it does happen to be broken all the time. There is never an appropriate time or appropriate reason to ask a stranger to watch your stuff. If the repetitive announcements that say, "Do not leave your stuff unattended," doesn't deter you, how about the fact that you don't know the person, and if they start boarding or they call that passenger's name, your bag will probably be left to fend for itself. Always take your belongings with you when you do things like use the washroom or grab a coffee. Honestly, just don't part from any of your belongings while traveling, ever. I've seen passengers plug their device into those public charging stations at the airport and then just walk away. You are literally asking to have your device stolen or tampered with. And if you do have one of those large plugs, the next rule is common courtesy. Just use the bottom outlet as opposed to the top outlet. This way your large plug doesn't cover the socket underneath, so it's still available for another passenger to use. This next one is kind of gross, and I wish I didn't have to say it, but I've seen other passengers do it, and you probably have too. Or should I say, not do it. Please wash your hands and wash your kids' hands when you use an airport bathroom. If you don't, you are spreading germs to every single surface that you touch. Not only are you putting yourself at risk of catching some nasty international bugs, but you're also putting other people at risk too. And how do you feel about those smiley face buttons where you can rate your washroom experience on the way out? Super gross. Not a button I would be touching. Unwritten rule number 19 is to know your boarding zone and refrain from crowding the gate area as boarding begins. I get it. You want to be ready as soon as they announce boarding so that you can get some of that overhead bin space for your carry-on suitcase. But please at least wait until they announce your specific boarding zone before hovering the boarding line. And don't pretend that you didn't see you were zone 6 and then try to board with zone 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. You will most likely be rejected at the gate, and it's going to be a waste of your time along with everyone else's time as you are now sent to the back of the line. It's also common to see passengers unintentionally break this rule, but ignorance is not bliss. Your boarding zone is clearly displayed on your boarding pass, and it's important that you know it. And when it is your turn to board the plane, make sure that you have your passport open to the photo page and that you have your ticket in hand. This applies to you even if you have a mobile boarding pass. It actually especially applies to you if you have a mobile boarding pass, as these tend to take a little bit longer to scan. Have the pass open on your phone by taking a screenshot of it or saving it to your Apple Wallet for easy access. And then make sure that your phone screen is clean and that the brightness is turned all the way up to give it the best shot of a one and done scan. Unwritten rule number 21 is to keep your boarding pass in your hand because as you go to get onto the plane, a flight attendant is going to welcome you on board and they will also ask to see your ticket. This is mainly just to direct you on where your seat is if it is a big plane where there happen to be 2 aisles. Even if you know that seat K is going to be on the right side of the plane, It's just going to be faster and more pleasant to have your ticket ready in your hand to show a flight attendant and let them do their job by welcoming you onto the plane and directing you to your seat. And if you enjoyed this video, then you'll love another one that I did on the unwritten rules for the airplane. I'll leave it linked down in the description for you as well. Let us know down in the comments what you wish all passengers knew before they headed to the airport. And then also don't forget to share and give this video a like, because the more people that see it, the more pleasant the airport experience is going to be for all of us travelers. My name's Megan, and I would love to see you subscribe to join us back here for more travel videos with tips, hacks, and advice each week. Thank you so much for watching, and safe travels. Bye.